banks that are actually trading peer-to-peer with each other. I think that the banks, the custodians, megacorps, I see a world where every major bank and every major tech corp, maybe a Google and an Apple and a Microsoft, they're all settling or moving large amounts of Bitcoin around on the base layer. Governments, you would think that the biggest users of the base layer would be Apple and Google and the US and Bank of China and Bank of Russia and Bank of England. I mean, to the extent that any of those things exist, right? If the nation exists, if the bank exists, you would think that Citi would be moving billions of dollars of Bitcoin to B of A, to Wells Fargo, to Santander, to Deutsche Bank, to Swiss Bank, to Bank of Japan. I would think that Microsoft will move billions and tens of billions of Bitcoin between Microsoft and Google in order to work through some, technical issue. I think I think Visa and any of the payment networks, they'll have massive amounts of Bitcoin. So I think that if you're actually an individual and you're using Bitcoin right now, you're one of the early pioneers.
And Michael Saylor says it here himself. He sees big players that haven't showed up yet getting into the space. And he also says, if you are in Bitcoin right now, you are one of the early majority, the early pioneers. Bitcoin is going to revolutionize this space, going to revolutionize global trade, and we are just getting started. And with that, what's happening, Crypto Crew? If you guys like this content, take a moment, go ahead and smash the like button. We appreciate the support, and go ahead, shoot us a follow on X, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. Getting straight into it, the current time is recording, Bitcoin has been just basing out around 119,000. We've opened around 117, 118, just been trading in this channel. Let's zoom into the price action to see what do we see, what do we anticipate. So look this here. We've just waited patiently for this 20 moving average to catch up to the price action. So over the past about 2 weeks since the 11th, we've traded in this channel. And this seems to be, like we had said, some type of wedge formation that could be forming. Let's draw this out to see where we could be going. Let's not extend the line left. Let's just get this way. And then we see this flag pull here. Right here, we see this. And this could be the level to pay attention to on the bottom end. On the floor is roughly 117, to the top end 120. So we've been trading in this $3,000 range for almost 2 weeks now. And if we have a breakout from here, where would this take us? A conservative target, if we want to pull from the floor, we're going to go up to 130,000 right around the corner. And if we want to pull up to the upside whenever we break out from the 120 level, that's the level we want to pay attention to. This will take us up to 134,000. So 130 to 134,000 is around the corner, and Bitcoin dominance had a meltdown, and as of today, we had a rally back up. Now, zooming back into the charts, we've showed you this channel before. This is on the daily. Let's look on the higher time frames, on the weekly, just so we can scrunch the graph a little bit and make it all make sense. But as you see, the stair stepping its way up to the upside is still putting in higher highs and higher lows. This meltdown was a low. And are we out the woods yet? Not quite. Look at this middle support / resistance line. We had this bullish engulfing candle, but we had a bullish engulfing candle back here as well. And this is extremely major fall to the downside. So we want to pay attention to this. Could we get a continuation to the lower price action? Yes, but we want to make sure that Bitcoin doesn't do what always Bitcoin tends to do, is melt faces to the upside. And right here, we see basically a double bottom right here. So could we get a continuation to the upside? Potentially, Bitcoin could come back up and trot towards the 70 range. If we get rejected by this middle orange line, which the current time it's recording is around 62.25, Could we see lower price action as far as the dominance goes? Most definitely. Prepare for either direction. Metaplanet had a pop as well, back up to 850. We had a meltdown. And once again, what do we see? What do we anticipate? Metaplanet actually wicked all the way up to about 875 and got rejected from this downward support line. So will we get a pop? The MNAV did get below 3 historically. Buying at or around 3 has been a huge opportunity before we've seen price runs like we've seen last time. And we showed you the targets. We showed you what's going on. Simon Jerovich is weighing in. He made a post that at the time they held 246 Bitcoin and the stock dropped 70% within 6 trading days from 300 yen down to 89 yen. Today, they hold 66 times more Bitcoin. Massive, massive appreciation just about 1 year ago. They've been on this journey 15 months, and as you see, the stock has been rocketing. Now, why are we showing you this? Why are we reading this? Because this company has been executing flawlessly, and they have an opportunity right now. Looking at Metaplanet on the Bitcoin treasuries, they fell a few because they didn't buy any this past week. Trump media came in, and also the Bitcoin Standard Treasury Company. This is Adam Beck's new company that had a merger with Cantor. They jumped Metaplanet, and Metaplanet is not selling any of its shares to dilute further down when it's under 3. So they control the MNAV. So having that control of the MNAV and discipline is what you want to see in some of these companies. They started this 15 months ago, and right now they're at 16.3K. And they have a huge target to hit 210,000 Bitcoin over the next 2.5 years. So just doing some quick math, you're going to take the 210,000 divided by the 352. They're looking to almost 13x their Bitcoin stack over the next 2.5 years. So there's definitely an opportunity here at Metaplanet. But look right here, it's breaking news. Japan's 40-year government bond auction recorded its weakest demand in 14 years on Wednesday. The bid to cover ratio, a measure of demand, dropped from 2.127 from 2.214. As a result, the bond yielded 3.375, the highest on record. This comes as investors are increasingly concerned about rising government spending. So this is bullish for Metaplanet and also Bitcoin for this market. Now, we've showed you that Japan has a unique use case as far as why Metaplanet, the actual equity in the Japanese market, 3350, is more advantageous to Bitcoin because as of now, they have a 50% capital gain on Bitcoin, and now the general public in Japan seeing that the bond market's looking pretty shaky, and this could be a flip to safety and to Metaplanet. Could be extremely bullish. A lot of bullishness coming across the board. And right here, Mero Holdings announced a proposed private offering of $850 million of zero coupon convertible senior notes. They're looking to buy 850 million more Bitcoin. So at the current time where this is at, this is about another 7,000 Bitcoin, where Bitcoin's at 120,000, depending on how fast they can raise this, if Bitcoin's still at the same price. But as you see, more and more buys and buy pressure to the upside. And look what's happening with banks. We'll leave you with this clip.
Around stablecoin and crypto, how are you feeling about getting in and using it as potentially a platform and option for your clients?
I mean, it's early, but I think it has a lot of promise, and particularly around stablecoin. And obviously, the Genius Act was just last week. But when you think about stablecoin, there's really a few things. There's the institutional piece, which will be the equivalent of like prime brokerage. That will be dominated by a single handful of international banks. The huge volume, relatively narrow margins. That's not really an opportunity or a challenge for us. The next is as a storer of value. And clearly, to the extent, Sarah, that our clients want it and they want to hold it in their wallets, we will accommodate that. And so we'll be sure to do that. Then there's the sort of discussion around, is it going to cannibalize deposits at banks? I actually think that's a fair. I think it's a threat, but I don't think it's an immediate threat. And I think the industry will respond. I mean, whether it's with tokenized deposits, which I think you'll see banks like Key do, and you may well see. I don't envision Key issuing a coin per se, but I could see us as part of a consortium of banks that issues a coin. And then I think the two best applications are really international payments. Right now, international payments are sort of this Byzantine approach of, all these correspondent banks. It takes a long time. There's a lot of friction. I think stable coins could be a really good solution for our clients. It could be faster, cheaper, better. And then last is just programmable payments, which every bank needs to do, whether it's escrows or other programmable payments. So I'm actually, particularly on those last two applications, I'm pretty enthusiastic about it.